Hey guys, how you doing? I'm going to answer a question that I get all the time. Should you go to university, Harvard, Yale, or should you learn to code? So this question is not a simple yes or no because there's a lot of factors that go into this. But let me summarize it in a couple bullet points. If you are going to university because you want to secure a better job, and you're thinking of studying the liberal arts, economics, art history, psychology, any of these type of degrees, then I would think about it a couple of times, especially if you're thinking about going into student loan debt. Student loan debt is the most evil and pernicious type of debt that you could ever take on, especially in the US. Now, I'm not sure about other parts of the world, but in the US and in Canada, student loan debt cannot be absolved. I don't know about Canada, but in the US, it cannot be absolved through bankruptcy. So let's say you go to whatever university and you decide you're going to study whatever it is, any of the liberal arts. You're not sure what you want to do, so you go to economics, and then you jump in another year, you do a little psychology, then you jump a year, and you want to see if you can get into becoming a lawyer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're jumping around, and every year you're racking up student loan debt. Now, when you're young and you're not sure what to do, you just start spending this money, you start leveraging all this debt, and you're not thinking about the medium term and long term. Now, the problem with all the student loan debt is that it's debt that you can never declare bankruptcy for. So what does that mean? Let's say you rack up 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand worth of debt, and you get out of school and you have some arts degree, history, a BA in history or BA in psychology, whatever. I'm not picking on these fields of study. There's merit to them in a certain extent. But there's very little, if any, job prospects with this. And then you're going to find yourself with massive amount of debt that you can't get rid of through bankruptcy. So you rack up 100 grand in debt, you get out of school, you can't really get a real job, and then the clock starts ticking in terms of the interest you got to pay. And this keeps building, and even if you go bankrupt, you still owe this money and all the interest. It's crazy. It's modern day debt slavery. And I'm not political about this. I am very much an entrepreneur my entire life, so I believe you should manage your own affairs properly, but to put people into debt for tens of thousands, if not 100,000 plus, and have this debt wrapped around your neck for life, this is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So if you're thinking of going to higher education and your main reason is to find yourself a well-paying job, I would not be doing it in the arts, because there's no, I'm not going to say there's no opportunity, but there's limited opportunity in terms of what the job prospects could be. Now, before you go crazy, remember I studied, well, maybe you don't know me, but I studied psychology in university. But up here in Canada, especially back when I did it, it wasn't very expensive. I did 2 years before I left because of my business was growing. I had to make a decision, continue with the business or continue with school. And I thought to myself, I could always go back to school, but here's a business opportunity, I can take it. Now, I don't regret making that decision, because the business in of itself, starting and running your own business, is fantastic education. I'm a huge believer in real world experience as the way you educate yourself in any given field. That's a failing that a lot of academics who live their entire adult careers inside of the school systems, and I'm a huge supporter of teachers. I think teachers are underpaid and appreciated in, especially the West. In the East and Korea, you got teacher superstars, because people realize that teachers are so important, because they literally form the minds of the next generation. And having a good teacher can mean a difference between having an amazing career and outcome in your life versus not so great as well. So I'm a big supporter of teachers. That being said, there's a certain class, certain group of teachers who never venture outside of the protected environment of the university system, and so they're detached from reality. It kind of reminds me of traditional martial artists back in the day. Now, you may not know, but I did martial arts for 25 years, 30 years, pretty consistently. All kinds of different styles, a lot of traditional martial arts like the karate, taekwondo, judo, and some non-traditional like wrestling and boxing and so on. So it's like over the years I've seen a lot. And what I saw is that the academic martial artists, which would be the equivalent of the tenured professors and so forth, people who've never been in the real world, the academic martial arts were practicing techniques, but never actually been in street fights, never been in a ring with different types of fighters. They start coming up with these ideas that are detached from reality, that actually don't reflect reality, but wrong. And what we saw in the 90s when the UFC came about, we saw a lot of these academic martial arts, they jumped into the ring for the first time, and they really were convinced. They were honestly convinced that their styles and what they were doing were really effective. And they got really beat down bad. And it changed the way society overall looked at martial arts, and we saw the rise of and the respect for wrestling and jiu-jitsu and judo and boxing, Greco wrestling. The styles are actually engaged in real world, in combat. It's not real world, of course, but it's still much better than just doing techniques and forms that have no contact with real fighting whatsoever. And so when we bring this back, so a lot of the things that are taught in schools are really detached from reality in terms of money making. So if you're going to school to get a career so you can have make good money, choose a particular track that makes sense given where the demand is. So you get into software development, engineering, medicine, that kind of stuff. It totally makes sense there. If you're looking at liberal arts, you're looking at psychology, even though psychology is great, it's hard to make a living. So you're gonna have to get at least a master's degree, etc. You got to look at the job prospects and look at the risk reward. This is something in business. They look at what is the risk you're taking and what's the potential reward. So if you're going to go into massive debt and you're not exactly sure what you want to do in college or university, I wouldn't go. Personally, I wouldn't go. I would say, you know what, much better off to learn to code on your own, take an online program, and develop your skills that way, because A, you're not going to be in debt, which is huge. It's massive. Remember, this debt, you can't get rid of it through bankruptcy, the student loan debt. It's pernicious. It's the worst thing you could ever do. Number two, there's so much demand for software developers, and the jobs pay so much more than most professions, if not all professions. Always in the top 3 or 4, depending on the specialization. But it doesn't matter specialization in terms of type of coding that you do. Regardless of the coding style that you actually do, you're still going to make a lot more money than, I would say, 95%, if not 98% of the people out there coming out of the gate. And there's all these other perks and advantages to being a developer. You can go work for large companies, you can do your own startup, you can do freelancing, you can work for large companies or small companies. You have a lot of power and respect as a software developer in the real world, because you have a level of skill and knowledge, especially when you own a system. If you build a system from scratch, you have a lot of power in the organization, in the business, and a lot of respect, and people will treat you very well, because software is a black box for most people. What do I mean by that? You either know code and you understand how to build systems, or you know zero about it. And so people respect that because they don't know anything. It's kind of a scary thing. And it is, because the barrier to entry to get into coding is more difficult than so many other things. That being said, with a great course, you'll be able to get through that hump, and then it becomes really a smooth process and an easy process. So in my roundabout way, if you're going into university to get a degree because you want to make more money, choose a degree and be sure you're sure about this degree that leads to a high-paying job. So on average, remember, don't look at the exceptions. Yes, there are a few tenured professors in psychology and history and art history and religious studies that they're tenured, they make good money, they're fine, but they're very, very rare, these people. You have to look at the programs or look at the degrees that actually could make you money in the sciences, engineering, and so on, medicine. You have to go look at the statistics. I think if this video gets a good response, I'll break that down for people. I'll do the breakdown in terms of what tracks make sense in that regard. If, on the other hand, you're somebody who is not sure about what they want to do, you might find yourself in bouncing around from program to program, then I would strongly suggest, especially if you have to take on student loan debt. If you come from a wealthy family and they're going to pay for everything, that's another story, then you don't have that issue. But you have to avoid that student loan debt at all cost. This is like cancer. This is economic suicide and cancer to get yourself in student loan debt, especially in the U.S. Another option, if you're a U.S. Student and you want to go to school, maybe go to a Canadian college, much cheaper, much cheaper. That's also an option as well for you. So yeah, don't get yourself into debt. If you're not going to be taking a program or pursuing a degree that points to an average person coming out of there makes good money, the average, not the exceptional person, always shoot for the averages, assume that you're going to be within the averages. The averages are the average because they're the average, right? Everybody, that's why they're average. So you might be the exception and you shoot to be exceptional, but just assume that you're going to be at least within the average, within the norm. That's a safe way of pursuing things. That's what you do in business, by the way. When you're launching a business, don't assume that your product is going to be this mega seller. Never assume that. That's a recipe for disaster. Always assume you're going to fall within the averages and you plan accordingly. If you do amazingly well, which you want to shoot for, fantastic, you take it. But if you plan and your contingency is that, well, I'm just going to be like everybody else, the averages, and you plan everything accordingly, then you'll be in a good position. Same thing with the degrees. Look at the degrees you're pursuing. If it's one of these degrees where your job prospects are minimal or the pay is minimal, don't go into student loan debt, and you're much better off learning how to code, because in a much less time, because you got to look at 3-4 years to get a degree, whereas you can learn to code and be productive within a few months and start making money. And you do have to do the math. You do the math, what you're going to earn, how you're going to do 4 years. You're going to come out, you're going to be a lawyer, or you may want to teach history or something. What can you earn there? What's the likelihood possibility? You're in debt now. Meanwhile, if you're a coder, within a few months, you're starting to earn. Within 3 years, you could be making 6 figures in North America. So you have to do the math. So you're in hundreds of, so basically, if you went into coding right away, what you're going to find yourself is hundreds of thousands of dollars ahead, likely, very likely, than somebody who went to university for 4 years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars ahead to begin with. And unless they're some sort of types of medicine, unless the university graduate did some type of medicine or was a superstar lawyer or something, chances are you're going to continue as a coder to leap ahead, way ahead of the person who went to university. Because you're going to have that several $100,000 head start, and then you're going to keep growing and growing and growing. Anyway, I hope this was useful. Bye-bye.